The Japanese archipelago has seen record high temperatures for June. Temperatures in Tokyo broke nearly 150-year records and hundreds were treated for heat strokes in the country's worst heat wave since 1875. In Ezesaki, north of Tokyo, the temperatures rose to 40.2 degrees Celsius on Saturday. That's the highest ever for the month of June. 37 million people in and around Tokyo have been told to conserve electricity in response to high temperatures straining the power grid.
The first warning of a tight supply-demand has been issued from the area covered under the Tokyo Electric Power Company. We would like to ask people to save electricity in a way that does not cause great inconvenience to them in the evenings when the power reserve ratio is low. We hope people will use air conditioners appropriately during hot times of the day and be very careful not to get a heat stroke. We encourage people to turn off lights that are not being used so they can save electricity and cut back energy use to a reasonable degree.
Japan's meteorological agency announced the end of the rainy season in Tokyo and neighboring areas in eastern and central Japan. This marks the earliest declaration for the end of the rainy season since 1951. This year's rainy season, which typically begins in June, is 3 weeks shorter than the average, lasting 21 days. According to the agency, hot air coming from a powerful high atmospheric pressure system stalled over the Pacific Ocean, which means that high temperatures are expected until early July. In Tokyo, staff at the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry worked without lights and only one of the two elevators was functioning in the afternoon when the demand was likely to rise. Top Japan steelmakers like Nippon Steel and JFE Holdings have said that they will be boosting the power output from their own generation facilities in order to help add more supply to the Tokyo region. While Japan's government has issued warnings of a power crunch, they have also advised the residents to do whatever was required to stay cool and avoid heat strokes. A quarter of the country's population is elderly and at greater risk of suffering from severe health consequences because of the extreme heat.
It's not that I don't get what the government is saying, but they want us to save electricity and still use air conditioning, which seems contradictory.
The heat wave is also affecting rivers and dams across the country. The Samoera Dam has a water level at 34.9% of the capacity, less than half its typical level this time of the year. There are concerns that it will dry up in July. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.